Hey, what is up? It's me, Chris, your boy Japanic Communist, and today, guys, I'm going to teach you guys how to go ahead and harvest, dry, and find your own herbs that are lying around in your own neighborhood, as well as go ahead and drying grass for use for fire starting tinder and stuff, for a nice eco-friendly way to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and go and find some herbs real quick. All right, guys, we actually happen to run into an easy-to-find herb. So this long herb that you see here and over here, this is common mugwort. In Japanese, it's called yomogi. People use this, you can use it as an herb. It has sort of a rosemary-ish taste, although you have to be careful how much you eat. Supposedly, it's also good to use for a tincture to help stop menstrual cramps. However, my wife tried that out, didn't have luck with that really working, so take that with a bit of a grain of salt. So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually cut the stuff. Now, usually I use like a pocket knife, like a Swiss Army knife, but today I actually have my Kama, so I'm just going to go ahead, cut a couple of those off real quick. So give me 1 second. All right, guys, so next up we're going to do the same process, except this time we're going to go ahead and use some dried grass that's just kind of growing everywhere. Now, normally the neighborhood just kind of cuts this stuff down. This doesn't actually belong to anybody in particular and stuff, so they won't really mind if I'm going ahead and taking the stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut some of that down, just a little bit though, because I have quite a bit at my house. I don't really need a ton more and stuff like that, but this will just give you guys a good example of how we actually go ahead and do this. So we'll be right back with that. All right, guys, so here we are. Here's the yomogi that I cut. So first off, this is actually a little bit on the long side. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is take a knife and cut this in half so I can hang it up in two little bits. All right, just give me a second here. All right, now that that's done, all you have to do is simply wrap this up and leave it somewhere to hang. For the herbs and stuff, I tend to use just rubber bands. You don't really need to go super fancy. So I just give it like a couple of binds like this. And then I leave a little, I have some hooks up in my kitchen actually that I have that you could just sort of hang this on. You can follow me. I'll show you exactly where we're gonna go put this. So up here, as you can see, we have some other herbs. In fact, this here is actually the finished product of this stuff, of mugwort. And then you just sort of stick it up there, or put it on an S hook if that's too small, like this is. And I run it through the center just like so. Put this back into the hook, and we're basically good to go. Now, next up, I'm going to show you guys how to do the same thing with the grass that we had and stuff like that. So, for the grass, I do the same thing. The only difference is instead of using rubber bands to wrap it around, because I use this as a fire starter, I tend to use rope, in this case jute rope, which is an extremely cheap, very, very good fire starter. I'll show you guys how to use that as a fire starter in a later video. But just so that we reduce waste, we're functionally going to do the same thing. Tie it. Nice, tight. Put a little knot into there. Dropping some grass, but whatever, it'll live. And then just tie it nice and tight, like so. Make it into a knot. Next up, I'll show you guys where I go ahead and hang this. And you guys don't have to use the exact same setup I do. If you have anything outside that you can hang it up on, it'll work too. But let me just go take you guys outside real quick, and I'll show you where I actually go ahead and do this. Just let me move some stuff real quick. Now, some of you guys may recognize the spot from my previous video when I was making sea salt. So, as you can see out here, I have this very simple setup right here. This is basically just bamboo that I just cut, and I kind of have it sitting in a rack like this. And all you're simply going to do is just set it here and leave it about there. Now, this area gets a decent amount of sun, so you're going to leave this here for a couple of days. But when it's done, it'll be a lot drier like this, and obviously it's going to be a little bit more than this. This is just an extra one we had hanging off, but this will make for an excellent fire starter, and I'll show you guys how to make that into a future video. At any rate, hope you guys like my stuff. If you want to see more content, like and subscribe.